And hello YouTube, this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'm today with a brand new video for Gaming with JS, and today we're here on Guild Wars 2, and I want to take a closer look at the Chaos Isle Fractal. On release day, I tried doing the Fractal, and we got about to the leyline, the Chaos Anomaly, not the leyline anomaly, the Chaos Anomaly, and a person died, and he left. Then we tried it again, we got to the Blizzard Snowblind area, and people didn't know what the heck they were doing. So my 2 attempts on patch day to complete this Fractal were a failure. I waited a week, I did it today, and still there are people who don't know how to complete this Fractal. So I say, you know what? Let me go make a video, a guide. There is also an achievement point with this Fractal that's called Notetaker, where you have to find all the journal pages within the Fractal. I will have relevant footage in the background. This is sort of like a Chaos Isle Fractal guide, as well as the Notetaker achievement guide. So if you haven't completed the Fractal, if you haven't completed the achievement even, then hopefully you'll find this video helpful. Now, the interesting part about this Fractal is that it's not really anything new. As you know, the environments, we've all seen a lot of the things that you'll see in the Fractal. They're pretty much in every other Fractal. They've basically combined 8 of the old Fractals into a new one called the Chaos Isle Fractal. Now, we have some stuff from Cliffside, we have some stuff from Uncategorized, we have some stuff from Tama Reactor, Urban Battleground, Snowblind, Solid Ocean, Aetherblade, Molten Facility, and the way they've pieced this Fractal together is really cool. I actually like this Fractal a lot. It's not too difficult, especially once you've done it a few times. It's actually very easy. And there are some things that change as you go higher in the tiers. If you're doing level 99, like the level 99 tier fractals, like the tier 4 fractals, then Chaos Isle is substantially harder, and there are some added mechanics compared to if you're doing the tier 1 Chaos Isle. And I like that. I'll go over a few of those mechanics that are different. But for the most part, once you have this Fractal down, you've done it a few times, it becomes very easy. But if you go into this blind, not knowing what to do, you can get lost. And especially on higher tiers, if you don't do things properly, it can make it extremely difficult. So as you enter the Fractal, you are seeing Cliffside, and all you gotta do is kill the mobs that come up to you. And very easy. To the left of those mobs, there is the first journal page already, so it should be very visible, not very difficult at all. And once you head to the right after you kill the mobs and get your journal page, you'll have 2 paths to take. You can either go through the hallway, which will bring you to the uncategorized portion of the Chaos Isle, where the jumping puzzle is again, just like it's in uncategorized in the beginning. However, if you take the route that you usually would take when doing Cliffside, you'll actually have another smaller mini jumping puzzle where you jump over some wooden ledges, jump on top of those, and jump across. Then you'll actually see journal page number 2 in the second path that you take. So don't take the first path, which is going across the uncategorized giant puzzle. Take the second path, which is how you would usually go about when entering Cliffside, and you'll find the second note there. Now, after that, you want to go ahead and go back and go to the uncategorized portion again. And here, there's no harpies, but there are golems. So as you're jumping across, just kill the golems, and you'll eventually make it across to the other side. And here is where the Tama Reactor portion of the Fractal comes into play, which I thought was really neat. How they added the flooring here was really cool. Now, you'll see that there are 4 golems towards the north as you're walking. Well, not towards the north, but as you're going up the floor, you'll see the 4 golems, which is the next part of the Fractal. You'll have to kill those 4 golems, and then the anomaly spawns. However, what I recommend you to do is get the 3rd and the 4th page first before you even attack the golems. So the 4th page is going to be towards the left, and the 3rd page is going to be towards the right. Go ahead and run past the golems to the right, and you'll see there's a ledge with some cubes near the bottom. If you jump off the ledge, there's going to be some floating cubes. You have to jump on top of those floating cubes to get to the other side where there's this torn down house. There's like this little hut, this house sort of, it's like a hut house. And inside that house, there is the third page. So jump over the cubes, get the third page, and then you can just jump off of the platform and you'll basically respawn back in the wooden platform where you were in front of the 4 golems. So you don't need to find a way back, just jump off and you can res yourself. So that's the third page. The fourth page is actually to your left. If you are on higher scale fractals, like, you know, in the 3rd tier or 4th tier, then there will be extra golems on the way as you're going to the left. There's basically a path to get to the 4th page, and you have to kill the golems. They're veterans, I believe, but in the current footage that you're seeing, I'm in the lowest tier, so that's why you're not seeing them. Just be aware, though, there are golems there that you should kill. And once you get to the other side of that little walkway, you'll see the 4th page. And you can head back then to the prior location. You can jump off again if you want. There is a way to walk back. It's very easy. However you want to jump off, you can jump off, and it'll bring you back to the wooden platform in front of the 4 golems. Now, the way this 4 golems fight works, if you're on lower fractal tiers, it doesn't really make a difference who you attack first. They're all very easy. However, each of these 4 golems do something different. The one you want to be most concerned about is the one that's called a Doc, which is a healer. And perhaps the second one you want to be most concerned about is Plink, which uses ranged attacks. Now, in higher tier fractals, you want to take care of Doc first because he does do a substantial amount of healing. However, in the current tier that I'm doing on footage, we're doing the lowest tier, so we just go in and kill all of them at once. There's no real focus, but you do want to take care of Doc first. Once you've killed these 4 golems, the anomaly will basically spawn, and there is a trick to this. Now, what will happen is that the anomaly will start out and you can start damaging him as usual. Now, once he gets to a certain percentage health, at 75% health, the boss basically goes invulnerable. And 3 of the previous 4 veteran golems will basically show up again. Now, when you kill these 3 golems, the boss will become attackable again, and then at 50% health, everything just repeats. So just think of it as you enter the fight, bring them to 75% health, then you'll have to do with 3 of the previous 4 veterans. After that, bring them to 50% health, then you'll have 2 of the previous 4 as elites, and then when you bring them to 25% health, you'll have 1 of the previous 2 as a champion. So the number keeps on going down from 4, 3, 2, 1, and the last one being a champion. Now, the last golem that you kill in each phase is the golem that's going to be eliminated during the next phase. So if you are looking for a specific champion golem for the Kitty Compactor achievement, so you have to make sure that you focus on that golem first in every phase so that it ensures that you get that champion golem for that achievement. Otherwise, if you don't realize that, you'll never get the achievement because you're just going to be killing random ones. Eventually, you'll probably get it, but if you're aiming to get that, make sure that you focus on one of them every phase. And essentially, that's how the anomaly boss fight goes. He does have time bombs that, you know, go on top of your head. You want to stay away from people. In general, though, the boss fight is very easy. Now, once you killed the boss, the gate will open behind him, and you'll have to take an immediate left, and there will be some stairs that you can jump on top of. It's partially blocked, but you can still jump on top of those staircases, and when you get on top of the wall, you follow the path to a mini jumping puzzle. You take another left, and there's going to be a way to jump to the platform. You can jump over the wall to a little platform, and you'll see a mini jumping puzzle with some floating structures that you gotta jump on top of. Be aware you do need swiftness for this. It can be very difficult to jump on top of these small floating structures if you don't have swiftness. If you have a mesmer, he can probably get you up there really easy too. But on top of the massive structure that you get on top of from these smaller ones, there will be the 5th page, and once again, you can just jump off again, and you'll basically spawn in front of the 4 golem area with the gate open, which you can then go into. So that's basically Tama Reactor and Urban Battleground. The next section, when you go through the gate, you'll basically be in the blizzard room, which is a mixture of snowblind and solid ocean. What you'll have to do is, this can be kind of tricky, especially if you don't have any coordination. There's going to be these big tentacles out of the ground. I think there's also a legendary wolf or a legendary hound that spawns. He is invincible. I didn't see him spawn in my instance. Maybe he only spawns in the higher tier instances, but maybe we just did it so well that we didn't even notice him. But be aware of the legendary wolf. He basically puts out the bonfires, so if you're too slow, you'll basically be killed by frostbite. But essentially, everyone will have an action skill, will have a torch in their hand, and each of you has to take turns in using the action skill to make it to each bonfire, light the bonfire, and get frostbite off of you, and continue walking through the snowfield until you get to the very end where the ice wall basically melts and you can continue forward. Now, while this is happening, you have to watch out for the legendary wolf that puts out the fire, and you'll have to watch out for the tentacles that are invulnerable, and that will basically knock you back and they'll do some heavy damage. You want to dodge, look for the orange circles in the ground, dodge them. If you have stability, definitely use stability so you don't get knocked down, because if you get left behind, then the frostbite is going to kill you. This frostbite is more dangerous than the original snowblind one. So just make sure you keep up with the group, make sure each of you takes turns lighting a bonfire, and you'll get to the end very easily. The only real issue should probably be the knockbacks that you get from the tentacles, but if you have stability, if you get knocked down, pop a stability skill, you'll be back up, and just watch your surroundings. That's the best advice I could give you. Now, in this room, there is the sixth journal page, so go ahead and go through to the very end of the blizzard room, and once you've completed it and the ice walls melted down at the very end, you can go back into the blizzard room. There'll be no more frostbite, and you can head to the 6th page note. It's towards the left side of the room. If you backtrack, and you'll find the 6th note there, you should see where I'm going on screen. After you got the 6th note, you'll basically go to the last room, which is a mixture of the Aetherblade Fractal and the Molten Facility Fractal. And here is where the last boss fight is, and the last note as well. The last journal page note is underneath a structure that you jump on top of. All you gotta do is jump down, side jump down, and then you can get the page underneath the wooden structure, and then you can jump back up to the boss. It's very easy. Note, you won't miss it. It's right in front of your face as you're going to the boss. So it's very easy. Those are the 7 pages. Now, as for the final boss, once again, depending on if you're in a higher tier or a lower tier, doing the Chaos Isle Fractal, it can be difficult. It can not be very difficult. What I've noticed is that in higher tier fractals, he has a buff on him, and you'll need to lead him into these electrified patterns on the floor. Each of these little squares in the floor that you see light up. Now, obviously, you don't want to stand in the lit up areas because they will do damage over time to you. So your goal is to dodge out of the pink lit up areas so you don't take damage. Now, your goal also is to lead the boss into these pink areas, because if you are doing higher fractals, you will need to take a buff off of him that can only be taken off with the pink lit up areas. It's a very straightforward fight, especially in lower tier fractals. It's a very easy fight, but as you go higher in the tiers of fractals, you will also see the molten furnace weights come down, which have the huge shockwave comes out, and you have to jump over it. So once you get further into the boss fight, that will happen too. So you're gonna have to avoid the pink areas with your character. You're gonna have to jump over the shockwaves in the area, and you're gonna have to make sure that you continuously do damage to the boss. So the higher you go into the tiers of fractals, the harder this gets and the more things you have to deal with. But in the lowest tier, and I think 1 through 20, you don't have to deal with the weights, and you probably don't even have to deal with the buff on the boss. I didn't see the buff on the boss. Maybe we just got rid of it very quickly. But have a look underneath the boss's health bar to see what buffs he has on. If you see that you're not doing much damage, if you see that he does have a buff on, you will have to lead him into the pink areas. Otherwise, just damage him, dodge the pink lit up areas, and you should be okay. Now, the boss does aggro certain people. If he does aggro you, you will have an icon over your head. So if you do need to get rid of the buff that he has on, you'll know if you're the one who needs to get rid of it. Just try to lead him into the lit up areas if he is aggroed on you and you do have the icon over your head. Just keep on running around. He can do a good amount of damage, so you don't want to stand still and let him hit you while you attack. Just sort of kite him and try to do as much damage as possible. All the other people in your party, stand back and DPS him while you kite him. And after that, you basically kill him, and that's pretty much the end of the Fractal. I really enjoyed the Fractal. It wasn't too difficult. It was actually fairly easy. I think it's just a lot of people don't know what to do because it's a mixture of all the Fractals, and if you're in a high scale Fractal and you don't know that you have to kill Doc first and he's going to be healing everyone, and you're going to be like, wow, this is taking a really long time to kill. Why is it taking so long? Or, if you don't realize that in the last area you have to jump the shockwaves, and you also have to avoid the pink areas and get rid of the buff, then things can take a very long time as well. This is actually a fairly quick Fractal. You can get this done fairly quickly if you know what you're doing, and if everyone cooperates and knows how the Fractal goes and coordinates, especially in the snow area, coordinating who's gonna go and light up the areas first, making sure no one gets knocked down. It can be a very easy Fractal and very quick one as well. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed the little guide. Hopefully you found it informative, and hopefully your Chaos Isle Fractal runs are a bit more smoother now. I tried looking on YouTube. There were no there were no guides on this Fractal, so I thought I'd make one because I didn't see much. Dolphy didn't make a guide. I didn't see a guide on Dolphy's page either. I didn't see a guide on Reddit, so I thought, why not make a guide? So hopefully you find it helpful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go and subscribe to the channel. Lots of other Guild Wars 2 guides on the channel, lots of other Guild Wars 2 content, discussions about news, lots of cool stuff on the channel. If you're into gaming, just general, you can subscribe to the channel too. I also have a Patreon if you want to donate $8 to my Patreon page. Anything as low as that is very helpful and very much appreciated. All you got to do is click the card in the top right hand corner of the screen, and it'll bring you to the page. I also have a vlogging channel, music channel, tutorials channel, and an advice channel. You want to check those out. Links in the description as well as on the end card. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching as always, and this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.